بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد.
So we were talking last time about the conditions of tauhid, and we said there are 7 conditions. They are very important, so we're going to through them quickly. We're going to go through them quickly. First condition is knowledge. You need to know what you're saying. What is la ilaha illAllah? فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Know that there is no God but Allah. Number 2, wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. Certainty, to have no doubt that there is no God but Allah. The third one is al-qabool. Al-qabool is to accept it with your heart, that there is no God but Allah, I accept that. Fourth one, al-inqiyaad, obedience. Obedience. When Allah says something, since I said there is no God but Allah, that means I will follow His command. Number 5, truthfulness. To be true to your statement. I say la ilaha illallah not because I want to gain something from the from that. It's just because I want to believe in one God. Number 6, ikhlas, sincerity, to be sincere to that. Number 7, love, and that is the main purpose for our creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to create something that worships Him willingly, with having the choice, and that is us. So when we worship Allah, when I come to class, for example, and I don't have to, there is nobody forcing anybody to come to class, that is worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, this is getting knowledge is a sort of worship. We're going to be talking about that shortly, inshallah. The different types of worship, ibadah. So when you are doing something that pleases Allah, anything, and you don't have to, that shows that you love Allah. And of course, loving Jannah and hating hellfire is necessary too. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not order us to worship Him only out of love, pure love. And that's the Sufis school of thought, which is incorrect. Incorrect. We love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's our creator. But at the same time, we want Jannah. And I don't want to go to hellfire.
Of course.
So that's the part of it. What is the meaning of ibadah? Ibadah, abd, is a servant, or more like a slave even. And it has a lot of meanings. So we're going to go over like 10 different meanings of ibadah. And all that is from the Quran and Hadith. Because ibadah, as in language, ibadah means worship. A'budullah, I worship Allah. But this is a vague word. What does worship mean? Does it mean I pray? Does it mean I give zakah? Is that worship? What is worship? And so that's why we have about 10 different meanings for ibadah. And all of them are correct at the same time. Number 1, dua. When you make dua, you are worshipping Allah. And there is a hadith that says, ad-dua huwa al-ibadah. Dua is the core of worship. Allah says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaces the word dua with ibadah. Make dua to me and I will respond to you, those who are too ignorant or too arrogant to worship me, not to make dua, Allah says. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exchanged these words, one for the other, ibadah and dua. So when you are making dua and you're asking Allah, you are worshipping Allah. This is the first meaning of ibadah, the worship, which is making dua. And that is considered to be one of the highest levels of ibadah. Because when you are making dua, you are fulfilling so many conditions. And we're talking about the actual dua, not like ameen, ameen, you don't know what's happening, ameen, and somebody's making dua and you're just saying ameen and you have no idea what is happening. We're talking about the sincere dua that comes from your heart. First, you are admitting that you're weak, right? That's why you're asking. Second, you're admitting that Allah is powerful. Otherwise, why are you asking him? Third, you acknowledge that he can hear you. Otherwise, why are you calling him? Fourth, you know that he has the ability. Otherwise, again, why are you calling him? Five, you know that he promised to answer you. So you are fulfilling many conditions. All of them are the conditions of worship, ibadah, when you're making dua. So the sincere dua is the highest level of ibadah. And by the way, you cannot be arrogant when you're making dua. You are admitting your weakness. You're saying, oh Allah, I can't do this. I need your help. So that's why dua is a very high level of ibadah, of worship. Second, we said there will be about 10 of them. Second is al-khawf, fearing Allah. When you fear Allah, that means you are worshiping him. It's a form of worship. Why? Because when you fear Allah, you wouldn't do things that make him upset. If you fear someone, you don't make them angry. So the second type of ibadah is al-khawf, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why Allah says, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. Whoever fears the status of his Lord will get two gardens. We discussed this in Surah Al-Rahman when we studied Surah Al-Rahman. During that time, Ashar and Asad and all these people were still in Jahiliyyah. So they were not here.
Thanks for calling us out. But so Yusuf when he basically rejected that woman, that's ibadah because he feared Allah.
He feared Allah. Any action you take because you fear Allah is an implication of ibadah. Let's say you get a chance to take money that's not yours, haram money. You are in a company, they forgot to lock the safe, and you can get the money and run away. You say, no, I fear Allah. This is ibadah. A beautiful lady calls you, you know the hadith, and you say, no, I fear Allah. This is ibadah. So any action you take in your life as an outcome to your fear of Allah, that is ibadah. So khawf.
If I am afraid of Allah Ta'ala and I am afraid of all the things that I do, will Almighty Allah forgive me?
Of course. I see that if you fear Allah in the dunya, he will give you safety in the akhirah. If you don't fear Allah in the dunya, you will fear him in the akhirah. You will not get two fears. Allah is too merciful to make you afraid of him twice. But we're talking about the fear that becomes action, not the fear like, oh, I fear Allah so much, but I don't pray, I don't fast, I take people's rights, I backbite about others, I do all the haram stuff, but I still fear Allah. No, that doesn't work. Fear Allah means I try my best not to anger him. But we all make mistakes. That doesn't mean we are perfect. We make mistakes, but because I fear Allah, I ask for forgiveness. So this is the fear of Allah. It will prevent me from making a mistake. In case, because our iman goes up and down, I was weak in iman and I made a mistake, after that I ask Allah to forgive me. That's still fearing Allah, which is ibadah. Okay, let's continue as much as we can.
That's 6 minutes.
The third one is at-tawakkul, to depend on Allah. It's amazing how our religion works. When I go and I ask someone, say, I need your help, and that person helps me, this person will be expecting a gift or a thank you because he helped me. That's not how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deals with us. I depend on Allah, Allah helps me and gives me good deeds for depending on him.
Right.
So this is an act of ibadah. Tawakkul. But of course, tawakkul, Allah says, وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَتَوَكَّلُوا إِن كُنْتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. If you're truly believers, then depend on Allah and only Allah. فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَوَكِّلِينَ. Whenever you decide, then depend on Allah, for Allah loves those who depend on him. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. So what is the meaning of I depend on Allah? This is very important because we have something called tawakkul,
Fake tawakkul, yeah.
which is the fake tawakkul. A Muslim,
What
a
is it
Muslim,
again? التوكل?
tawakkul is the third one,
Third, okay.
to depend on Allah. Now, what is the meaning of tawakkul? Tawakkul means first thing, I depend on Allah. Second, I do my best.
Yes.
Not I depend on Allah and I sit down and I wait for something to happen.
Yeah.
That's not tawakkul. And by the way, many people mistake this. They say, I do what I have to do first and then depend on Allah. That is incorrect.
On purpose.
You depend on Allah first. You cannot do اتخاذ الأسباب, to take the means, if Allah does not help you.
Mhm.
So it starts by depending on Allah first, doing your best while depending on Allah throughout, during the whole time. Your dependence on Allah does not change
Right.
from the very beginning. So I have some kind of issue. I make dua, oh Allah help me, I place my trust in you, I depend on you. I think, what can I do? What is in my ability to do? I do everything while I still depend on Allah, knowing my action will not do anything. It is Allah who's going to do it.
Right.
But I am trying because He ordered me to. This is how it works. So, for example, somebody wants a job. He made dua, oh Allah, I want a job, give me a good job that gives me halal income.
Mhm.
I depend on Allah. Now, next day I apply, send my resume to all the places everywhere. They call me to an interview. I go to the interview. I try my best. I wear nice stuff. All these things are all اتخاذ الأسباب. While at the same time, I know I will not get the job except if Allah wants me to.
Right.
So this is a very sensitive balance.
Mhm.
I do my part, knowing that doing my part will not give me what I want. Doing my part will please Allah. And He will give me whatever He wants to give me. So this is important in the tawakkul. Some people misunderstand that. They say, tawakkal ala Allah, oh Allah, please give me a Lamborghini. And I sit at home and I wait for somebody to bring a Lamborghini and give me the keys.
Why not?
Because it has not happened, it hasn't happened so far. It hasn't happened so far. I've been waiting. Nobody knocked at my door. See, here are your keys to the Lamborghini.
It's like he's gonna say, I want a job, it doesn't apply to any job. It's like Allah is a provider, but He doesn't apply to any job. Like,
Yeah, like Umar ibn Khattab says, don't sit by the river and say, Allahumma rziqni. It's not going to rain gold or silver. You make dua, you do your part, you know nothing is going to happen because of your action. It is Allah's will. Then why are you doing it? Because He commanded you to do it.
Right.
So اتخاذ الأسباب does not change the outcome, by the way. We have to understand that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to give you a job. And even if you stay at home and don't go anywhere, the job will come to you. But nobody can stop Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But He will ask you on the day of judgment, why were you staying at home? I gave it to you, that's out of my generosity. But why did you not work for it?